Doctor, I'm sorry, I couldn't record the first 2 minutes in which I just gave a recap of previous lecture. So we talked about pronunciation, chunking, and intonation, and then we discussed something about different sections of speaking test. So in first section, examiner first gives his or her introduction, and then he or she asks something about you, your ID, and confirms that ID from his or her record. After that, your first section starts, and in the first section, examiner asks you some general questions about yourself, like your family, your work, your hometown, your native city, your likes, your dislikes, and so on. And in section 2, you are given a task or a topic, and you are given 1 minute to prepare your speech to deliver or to talk on that topic. So he will give you or she will give you a topic, and you will be given 1 minute to make some points and notes. And then after that, you will start speaking looking at those notes. And you can take, but you have to speak for 2 minutes continuously, and examiner will not interrupt you during that time. Okay. After you are done with that, examiner will ask you to stop, and then examiner may ask you 1 or 2 rounding off questions on the same topic. Okay. After that, you will enter section 3, and in section 3, you are asked questions, journal questions related to the same topic. But section 2 pertains to some specific incident, some specific person, place, thing, or idea, or dream, or something. But in section 2, a journal version of the same topic is discussed. For example, if in in section 2, if the examiner asks you to talk or speak on about someone, a teacher maybe, talk about some teacher who influenced you. So this was section 2. This was specific to one individual teacher. But in section 3, you will be asked questions about teachers and teaching, right? Okay. Something like, okay, what kind of teachers do you like? Interactive teachers, strict teachers, or what? Fine. So now this is not related to that specific teacher, but these are related to teachers in general. So that was all about all 3 sections. And then, if you remember, we discussed purpose of the speaking test. What does they check? That means their assessment criteria. And in that, if you remember, it was almost similar to that of writing test, except in this, fluency and pronunciation are 2 different additional things, you can say. Okay. Mm-hmm. After that, we talked about the skills that you will learn. I just skipped at that time, and I'll skip it even today. So then, how to getting ready to speak, in which we saw a video, and we did 1 or 2 exercises related to that. That during, before starting section 1, examiner introduced him or herself, and he asked your name and where are you from and things like that. So we did this exercise. After that, we also had a look on this video once again to see that, okay, what is a good way of talking? What is a good sitting posture? How we should sit? Okay, we should sit confidently and in a normal way. It should not be too stiff, and it should not be too relaxed, like putting your feet on the table, right? So we covered this point as well. And then we also saw something related to what are do's and don'ts of speaking test. Like you can't, chew chewing gum there. You can't drink a glass of water. You can't drink from your bottle. You can't check your mobile phone and so on. But it doesn't mean that you just go there wearing a tie and suit, right? So you can wear jeans and t-shirt or any casual dress. So this was all we covered in previous lecture. One last thing that I told you, that right from today, actually from that day, I requested you to try to video yourself. If you remember, I told you that keep a mobile camera in front of you and just press the recording button. Then read any question from any of the websites and just try to reply that questions. Just reply 1 or 2 questions and stop the recording. Then watch that video. observe your sitting posture, observe your delivery of speech, observe your grammar mistakes. I tell you,
Okay.
video, video yourself doing, making a video of yourself is a very, very useful tool to improve your speaking score. Okay.
Okay.
Now this was all. Now let's start with our first session or first section of speaking test. And if you remember, in first section, you had to talk about familiar topics. You will be asked questions about your school, your childhood time, maybe your job, your family. Okay, so these topics are familiar to you. These are not very strange or new topics, right? Now,
Okay.
this session lasts approximately for 5 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes. In that, examiner
Okay.
will ask you some questions about familiar topics, just such as your family, likes, dislikes, and so on. And this remember, I told you that day that try to take this speaking test as if you are sitting in a train with
Okay.
a strange passenger, with a stranger.
Yeah.
Okay, don't take it as a job interview, otherwise you will take it a lot of pressure. So just take it
Okay.
as a natural conversation, like just assume that that passenger has just asked you, okay, your name, who are you, what do you do, and things like that. Okay?
Okay.
Remember one thing, you just can't deliver prepared answers. Just like writing test, I told you that you can't memorize answers and just deliver those answers during speaking test. If
Okay.
you will try to do that, examiner very easily can judge it, and then examiner will interrupt you and ask a different question.
Okay.
Okay, like if I ask you, okay, tell me something about your village or your hometown. So now, if you
Mhm.
will start delivering this is a very common question, right? So if you will start delivering speech which is prepared, examiner will just interrupt you, okay,
Okay.
and ask something which you have not prepared, right?
Okay.
Like if you, for example, if I say, do you like reading newspapers? And you say, yeah, I love reading newspapers. These are really very informative. Then examiner may think, well, I guess he is or she is prepared, right?
Okay.
Or he or she will interrupt you and will ask, okay, you can get the information from books as well. Why don't you read books?
Okay.
You see, after that, your delivered speech will, just collapse.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, let's look at these questions, and these questions are related to topic of home, right? Now, I'll
Okay.
ask you some questions, and I will tell you or suggest you some good answers, not good answers for that. I will suggest you a way of thinking. As I've just told you, that memorizing doesn't help you a lot, but I will
Yes.
give you a way of thinking which will actually help you to generate some good answers.
Okay.
Okay, now if I ask you, what do you like most about your hometown or city?
Mm.
Can you answer me?
Yes. The okay. The most thing I like the thing that I like the most in my city is the green environment. It has a lot of it has a big forest and it's a very green.
Okay, thank you. So now here, the first lesson that I want to teach you is that never ever, your answer was fine, pretty fine, right? Never
Mm.
ever answer in yes or no, or don't give too short answers.
Okay.
Try to expand on your answers, try to explain your answers, and let the
Okay.
examiner judge your speaking ability. If you just give
Okay.
very short answers like, what do you like most about your hometown or city? And you just say, I like the greenery here. So now this is too short an answer. If you will
Okay.
do that, examiner may ask you, okay, why do you like greenery?
Okay.
Right? So examiner will try to make you speak more and more. So it's better
Okay.
that you do it yourself. Okay, and tell
Okay.
examiner that you can speak fluently. Right?
Okay.
one thing. Second thing I want to highlight here is, let me grab my pen. Oh, sorry. Okay. Now, if you see, here is a question: what you like most?
Okay.
Okay, some candidates, they start talking about, well, there are a number of things which are, you know, famous or very attractive in my town, and I like its environment, I like its so and so thing, I like its culture, I like its food, and blah blah blah. Now, if you
Okay.
see, my question was what you like the most.
Mm.
Okay, and the examiner, sorry, the answers that I have just shown you, or I just, you know, exemplified in front of you,
Mm.
was about too many things. I didn't reply which was the most liked thing among all these. I mentioned 4 points: culture,
Mm.
environment, okay, food, and maybe one more thing, right? It's maybe it's infrastructure or historic buildings. Now you see,
Okay.
these are 4 things, but I didn't tell you the most liked thing. Okay, so you
Okay.
can take a start. You can take a start. Like, there are a number of things that I like about my city. However, well, I like its environment or its temperature or its scenery the most, or the landscape the most.
Okay.
This is one thing that I wanted to tell you, right? Actually, 2 things. First thing was,
Yes.
try to explain your answers. Don't give very short answers. Don't say yes, no, get
Mm.
silent. Try to start your answer immediately after the examiner asks you. Okay, I will tell you some techniques towards the end of these lessons uh, on how to avoid staying silent. For example, if I ask you some very vague question, like, well, what you will do if I send you to the moon? Now you see, this is a very vague question, right?
Okay.
Or if I ask you, can you tell me something, or have you observed something different in your city in last 10 years? Now, this is
Okay.
a very broader question. There are a
Mm.
number of things which have taken place in last 10 years.
Yes.
So for all these kind of questions, which are very broader in nature, try to categorize the things. What do I mean
Okay.
by categorize the things? Like, now make categories of different changes that have taken place, in your city. Like, well, there are a number of changes have taken place in my city in last 1 decade. For example, if you talk about the infrastructural changes,
Okay.
now there are more number of roads, taller buildings, and congested buildings actually. If you talk about the
Okay.
facility, now this is second category, facilities. Now we have got good hospitals and more number of schools and colleges and universities. And if you talk
Mm.
about the cultural changes, now you see I'm categorizing the things.
Okay.
Getting it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now also, please keep noting these points, right?
Yes, I'm
Why I'm
taking note.
saying, that? Because
Mm.
these things actually help you, or give you, generating different ideas, like whatever I have mentioned. Okay, can you tell me what do you like most about your city? So you would say, maybe, what are the things you may like about your city? In general, if I ask you, what are the things which anyone can like about one city? Maybe it's landscape or scenery, maybe it's temperature, cool temperature
Yes.
maybe, right? Pleasant temperature, pleasant environment, or maybe it's culture, or maybe
Okay.
it's food, fine, or maybe what? It's buildings, it's history or something. Same points you can use, in the next question. Can you see that? Is your hometown city a popular place for tourists to visit?
Okay.
So you can use the same points. Yeah, there are a number of attractions in my town. For example,
Mm.
its weather is very good, and people from all over the country, they come to my place, and to enjoy the present weather of this city. Similarly, it is very culturally very rich city, and there are a number of
Okay.
historic places that people can visit here. Then it is
Okay.
famous for its traditional foods. You see, these are
Okay.
same points that you can use on different for different questions,
Okay.
right? So categorization actually helps you to utilize these questions with slight changes for different questions.
Mm. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if I ask you, if you read the third question, do you think your hometown and city has changed much in recent years? So first, give the direct answer. What was my question? Do you think so? If you think so, then just say it. Yeah, my city has changed a lot in last 1 decade,
Okay.
right? If you talk about these changes, again, same points.
Okay.
So summing up this slide, I would say few points again, just to revise it so that you understand it better. Number one,
Okay.
try to give a direct answer to the question first.
Okay.
Like if I have asked you, what do you like most? Then after saying that, well, there are a number of things that I like about my city, but this is the thing that I like the most.
Okay.
Similarly, is your hometown is a popular place for tourists to visit? Yes, there are a number of predictions. Again, here comes the categorization thing.
Okay.
Okay, just categorize your ideas. You know why I'm saying categorizing the ideas? Actually, once you start talking on first category, the next category automatically comes into your mind.
Okay.
Like if I ask you, do you think that do you think that some changes have taken place in educational system in your country?
Okay.
Now you see, if you will try to, this is a very broader question, right? If
Yes.
you will try to cover all the changes, you may not be able to do it. So first
Yes.
make two categories maybe. And for example, you can say, well, if you talk about the private sector, it has really changed a lot. But the
Okay.
government sector institutes are still lagging behind.
Okay.
They haven't changed much. You see, you have categorized in two ways, in two classes. One is the government institute. So once you started talking about government institute, that means automatically next category will come into your mind. And what is that? Private sector,
Right. Okay.
right? Similarly, I can also, change this question, change this answer, and I can categorize as, well, if you talk about big cities, education has improved a lot. But there, what will be my next point? What will be my next category?
Maybe towns, small towns
Sometimes
or
smaller
village.
towns and villages. You see, next category will automatically come into your mind.
Okay.
Similarly, if okay, let me categorize it further in a different way now. Well,
Okay.
if you talk about the higher education, the university level, it has really improved and changed in last 10 years. But now what will be my next category?
And I can say the higher. You are talking about higher education.
Yeah, I've talked about higher education, university,
Maybe school education or
school.
primary.
You see, yeah,
Actually.
you can say the primary education or preliminary education.
Mm.
That actually, you see, similarly, if I say, do you think your hometown has changed much in, this is again a vague question, a very broad question. So, well, if you talk about the structural changes, now I can see more taller buildings, big shopping malls, maybe here, more number of bridges and, flyovers.
Mm.
And what obviously next category can be cultural changes, then facilities, maybe, right?
Yeah.
So that helps you to organize your ideas, very quickly.
Okay.
But you need practice for that.
Exactly.
So now applying the same technique, I'm going to ask you second and third question one by one, and I would request you to please record yourself now. Okay, take your mobile and record yourself.
Okay.
and then play it, right? I will ask the question and you will answer me. Just let me know once you start, you've started recording.
Okay. Okay, we can start.
Okay, is your hometown or city a popular place for tourists to visit?
Yeah, there are many places to visit. If you talk about it has coastlines and a good beach. Also, there is also hotels that are very good, provides accommodation for tourists, and also there is a big gardens in my town.
Right, right. Thank you very much. Now stop recording
Okay.
and watch it now.
Okay, we can start.
Okay, is your hometown or city a popular place for tourists to visit?
Yeah, there are many places to visit. If you talk about it has coastlines and a good beach. Also, there is also hotels that are very good, provides accommodation for tourists, and also there is a big gardens in my town.
Okay, you can
Excuse
attend
me.
your guest first. Okay, so now I hope.
Oh, excuse me, sir.
Yeah, sure, sure.
What is your problem? Sorry.
Right, no issues.
Okay.
Did you laugh watching your video?
Yeah. But someone has knocked my door and I was intending to.
Okay, so now try to observe your answers, right? Every time
Okay.
you answer something, try to record it and so watch that recording then later on.
Okay. Okay.
Now, can you see these questions, follow-up questions? Why? Why not? Okay, and why not? What do you think? Why examiner will use these questions?
Okay. That question is maybe for the maybe the student and for further information or for him to speak more.
Yeah, exactly. So there are two situations actually. Not two, there are three or four situations in which examiner, ask further questions. I will talk on these situations one by one. I will show you some videos where examiner, help the student in some way.
Okay.
There are two major situations in which examiner actually, ask these questions, additional questions. First situation is, let's say if your answer was too short.
Okay.
Like if I say, do you think your hometown has changed much in recent years? And you say, yes, I think it has changed much.
Okay.
You see, so in that case, examiner say, why do you think like that?
Okay.
Right? So if your answer is too short, examiner will obviously jump to these questions.
Okay.
If you are trying to give a delivered speech, you have memorized something about changes in a city. Like I have told you, cultural changes, infrastructure changes and facilities and blah, blah. So now, if you will try to give a prepared speech, examiner will interrupt you and he will ask you why not, or things like that.
The guy. Okay. Excuse me, sir. And some people will come and fit and repair my rooms.
Sorry?
So one of the guys will repair my. Okay.
No issues. Just let me know once you are settled.
No problem. We can continue.
Okay. Now, so these are the situations. One more point I want to tell you. Please avoid repeating the same words.
Okay.
Like if examiner asks you that your city has changed much in recent years,
Okay.
you can say something like, yeah, there are a number of changes that one can see in my city in last 1 decade or so.
Okay.
You see, I have paraphrased it. So paraphrasing actually helps examiner to judge your vocabulary.
Okay.
Just like writing test. So from now
Mm.
onward, I would request you to try to paraphrase, like which word you can use for tourist, popular place for tourists.
Popular place for tourists. Okay.
Yeah. Well, my city is
Some place.
really famous for, you can say, my city is really famous among people visiting from or visitors from all over the world or from across the country. Visitors,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
Okay. So now let's move forward. This is just to give you an idea how to take a start
Mm.
and some basic things. So I will keep adding in certain points. Okay.
Mm. Okay.
Now here's a candidate. His name is Amanali.
Okay.
Answering some questions. Okay. So as you
Okay.
listen, decide which statement below applies to Amanali's answer.
Okay.
What do you think? His answers are a little too short and the examiner needs to ask follow-up questions, or he is clearly giving a prepared speech, or he answers naturally and fully,
Okay.
right? Well, let me share one of my experience about this question or about this
Okay.
exercise. Many of the students, somehow feel and give me a very different answer. Many of the students, about 95% of the students, they perceive his answers very differently. Okay, now let's see if you get the same right answer or not. Okay,
Okay.
right. So I'm playing it. Watch him. What he's doing. Is he just giving short answers, or he is giving a prepared speech, or his answers are naturally? He's answering naturally and fully, right?
Okay.
Okay, I'm playing it now.
Now, in this first part, I'd
Okay.
like to ask you some questions about yourself.
Yes.
Let's talk about where you live. What do you like most about your hometown?
But actually, I come from a very small town with around 5,000 inhabitants. It's more or less 50 kilometers from Como, which is the main town. And the thing I like the most of my town is probably the fact that you can stay. It's a very secluded area, and you can stay. You can have. You can relax, so you don't have the stressful life of the city. And
Is your hometown a popular place for tourists to visit?
yeah, there are many tourists, especially in the summer, that flocking to my town and near town in Switzerland too, for holiday, for a week, for a month, especially from Germany, France.
And has your hometown changed much in recent years?
But honestly, I think it hasn't changed very much in the recent years. It's a small town. There haven't been a lot of change. But now there are not many people coming to my town as there were in the 80s. In the 80s, it was very popular to come there, especially from Holland.
So what do you think?
I think his answers was not too short. He's
Okay.
yes, that one. But I think he's giving a prepared speech.
You see, you are thinking the same as other students do. Okay.
Okay.
Actually, I know there's some flaw in this video, right? And once he looks up in the air, sorry, right? It sounds
Yeah.
as if he's giving a clear speech, a prepared speech.
Okay.
But actually, he is just trying to gather the ideas and words,
Okay.
right? This, he is trying to gather different words and form different sentences. You see, if it would have been a prepared speech, he would have not added words like, if you think, he would not have done that.
Okay.
Fine. So it is very natural that once you speak, you try to gather your ideas and gather different words for that. Actually, his answers are very natural and full. He's answering naturally and fully.
Okay, but he was not making any eye contact. And
yes, that is his flaw. Yes, he hardly makes any eye contact. That is an issue.
Yeah.
Right. So, do you want me to play it again?
Yes, I like it. I would like it.
Okay, sure.
Now, in this first part, I'd like to ask you some questions about yourself.
Yes.
Let's talk about where you live. What do you like most about your hometown?
Well, actually, I come from a very small town with around 5,000 inhabitants. It's more or less 50 kilometers from Como, which is the main town. And the thing I like the most of my town is probably the fact that you can stay. It's a very secluded area, and you can you can relax. So you don't have the stressful life of the city. And
is your hometown a popular place for tourists to visit?
Yeah, there are many tourists, especially in the summer, that flocking to my town and near town in Switzerland too, for holiday, for a week, for a month, especially from Germany, France.
And has your hometown changed much in recent years?
But honestly, I think it hasn't changed very much in the recent years. It's a small town, there haven't been a lot of change. But now there are not many people coming to my town as there were in the 80s. In the 80s it was very popular to come there, especially from Holland.
Okay.
Okay.
So I guess now you understand that it was not a prepared speech.
Yes, yes, but you know, sometimes like it seems to be.
Yeah, it seems to be. Yes, you're right.
Especially when it's sometimes used like most, and at the same time you use main.
Yeah.
Most thing and main thing. Yeah.
You're right. You're right. You are right. So now answer the questions below and record yourself if possible. Don't use any notes or give a prepared answer. Now I'm going to ask you some questions, right?
Okay.
What food is typical of your home country?
Okay, most food that people eat in a food is maize, and that's the food that most of my communities prefer to eat, and it's the stable food in my hometown.
Okay, you see, have you recorded this answer? No.
Yes.
Okay, now play it, and you'll observe that your answer was just broken into different pieces.
Okay.
Right? I mean, you just went slow, lower and lower.
Okay.
Many of the words I couldn't even hear. Okay.
Okay.
Right, now just play it and observe it.
People eat in a food is maize, and that's the food that most of the communities prefer to eat, and it's the stable food in my hometown.
Okay, you see,
Okay.
Fine, agreed?
Yeah.
Let's try to improve this answer. I'm asking you again. What food is typical of your home country?
Okay, let me
record it. Yeah, sorry.
Let me okay.
So, what food is typical of your hometown or home country?
The most food that's the typical in my that's famous in my country is rice, which is normally used by the people.
Okay, that's fine. Although your answer was short, and you started the most food. What is that?
Okay.
There's nothing like the most food.
Okay.
The most eaten food or the most liked food is the correct appropriate way of saying it, right?
Okay.
Now, here I want to highlight one thing, especially for people who just confuse different words.
Okay.
You know, sometimes, actually many a times, my students, they start talking about some special food.
Okay.
Okay, typical food is not a special food, right?
Okay.
Your answer was apparently, I guess your answer is correct, because I'm not sure about the typical food. Typical food means that you eat the most. Like if there are, there are 3 meals in a day, let's say breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Let's say there are 3 meals. And,
Okay.
if I say that there are 7 days in a week, so there are 21 meals in a week.
Yeah.
So when you say typical, it means that has to be something about 13, 14 times a week at least.
Okay.
That is your typical. Like if you eat rice 10 times, that means out of 20 times, 21 times, if you are eating 10 times, you are eating rice, then that
Okay.
makes sense. Yes, this is
Mm.
typical food, which is common food actually. This
Yes.
doesn't mean the special food, right?
Okay.
Okay. So for doctor, when I ask people from our region, from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, what they say? Well, nehari is the most, or biryani is the most, famous food. I have not asked you the famous food. I'm asking about the typical food. And for typical food in our region is bread with some kind of curry, anything
Okay.
vegetable curry, or maybe meat curry or chicken curry or something, fine. So
Okay.
now, are there any special festivals or celebrations in your town or city?
Okay. There are many different types of festivals. In one of them is religious celebrations and festivals. Others are cultural celebrations. In in cultural celebrations, we have like a cultural a day where people do some dance, where the people exhibit of and presentations in a religious aspect. And the celebration is like an Eid celebration or in fasting celebration. When a newborn in the family, when newborn is I mean, when there is a newborn, there is celebration. Which all this as religious celebration.
Okay, fine, thank you very much. This time you were lost in your answer. It was stretched too much, isn't it? It became difficult to round off your question answer. You just kept talking,
Exactly.
talking, talking. Oh yeah. So a good way of doing it is, there are a number of festivals, celebrations, and for that you can say there are a number of events which are celebrated in my country or town, maybe, right?
Mm.
Some of them are religious events, and because majority of our population belong to same religion, so these religious events are celebrated by most of them. So
Okay.
these include, for example, Eid, right? Eid event. There are 2 Eids. These are very famous events. And then there are some, national celebrations like our Independence Day, or something.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm.
And then there are some cultural events. And in that, you just give one example for each, and that's it,
Okay.
right? Instead of expanding and expanding and expanding and getting lost yourself, where am I right now? You have come too far in answering your question. Got it? Okay, now my next question is, what advice would you give to visitor to your town or city?
There are many advices that a visitor can be
Offered.
adv- uh,
Offered.
can be advised. The one of them can be like a safety. It is not good to walk out or go out at the late in the time of late time of the at the night.
Mhm.
Also, there is a like also the other advantage, advice can be like traveling when it is not good to travel alone when you are a visitor or when you are new to it.
Okay. Now you see this time. Sorry, one thing I forgot to appreciate. In your second question, you categorized the thing, and that was really
Yes.
good. Okay, you categorized into religious and cultural thing, and that was really good. But you ended up into a family event at the end for a newborn,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
That is a family event. That is not a festival, right? Or is it a,
Okay.
or is it a festival? I don't know. I don't know. But I think it's a family event. Only one
Hmm?
family, only one family, celebrate a newborn. Festival,
Newborn.
yeah. You talked about newborn.
Yes.
Okay, so that a national event or city level event, or that is just a family event?
Sometimes we take it as a religious,
Oh,
as a religious event.
yeah, but when we talk about festival, it means which is celebrated on one single day or 1 or 2 days or 3 days maybe
Um,
by a whole city or majority.
okay.
Like I told
Okay.
you, Eid is a festival for us.
Exact.
Right? Now, here in second case, what advice you give to a visitor? In this case, you didn't categorize. Again, you see,
Okay.
this was a broader question
Okay.
in which there are a number of advices you can offer. So
Okay.
you can say, well, if you talk about the safety and security, I would recommend tourists not to visit alone, especially after 9 p.m.
Okay.
Right, because of security situation and security concerns. And if you talk about my recommendations for them, the places that they must visit. So they should go to visit to beach, and they should visit or see that building, maybe some historic building. And I would also recommend them to please, buy some cultural, maybe some handicraft. Do you know what are handicrafts? Something made of wood or made of maybe steel. You understand that? Handicraft.
No, what is it? I don't
Handicraft
get it.
means like okay, if there is some cloth embroidery done by people, done by ladies. If there's some
Okay.
special kind of cloth,
Okay.
right? If there is some piece of wood, design which is carved like that,
Okay.
a design, good
Mm-hmm.
design is carved on that, or maybe a
Okay.
stone which is shaped into some camel maybe. You see,
Yes, yes, yes.
so you can also recommend them to buy some handicrafts. So now you see,
Okay.
I've given one recommendation for security, one recommendation for visit places to visit, one recommendation for purchases. You can also add on one recommendation for food, and you can mention one general suggestion like please try to bargain. Just don't give money blindly. Whatever price
Okay.
told to you, just cut it by 50%, right? So these are general,
Okay.
advices which are given to tourists, actually.
Okay.
Right. So your last question was not very good. Last answer was not very good. Number two answer was quite good, right? And number one was also good. Clear?
Okay.
Now moving forward, if you remember, the one of the assessment criteria for speaking test was grammatical range and accuracy.
Mm.
That
Yes.
means using the right tense. Okay. Now,
Yes.
examiner will actually ask you different questions about your past, your future plans, and something about present.
Okay.
So try to, examiner doesn't or isn't interested in knowing about your school time or your childhood time or your future plans for that matter. Examiner just wants to see you that, well, how accurately you use different tenses.
Okay.
right? So in part one of the speaking test, you will be asked questions about 2 or 3 familiar topics like your family, your job, your native town. These questions will feature a variety of tenses.
Okay.
It is important to listen carefully to the examiner's questions so that you can answer in the correct tense. I will give you a tip for that just in a while, right? When using yes-no questions, it is important to give reasons for your answer. Do not simply answer yes or no. I have already told you this thing. Try to expand, right?
Okay.
Agreed? Shall I move on, Claire?
Yes, sir.
Okay, spoken language is different to written language, and you may make more grammatical mistake when you are speaking due to less thinking time. If you have time,
Okay.
try recording yourself. You see, I'm again and again saying try recording yourself, right? Then write out your answer and then see what type of mistakes you are making in the tenses.
Okay.
But this is time-taking exercise. Once you will try to write your 3 lines sentence or 3 lines answer, you know, it may take, for that you will have to listen maybe 3 to 4 times,
Yeah.
right? But this will really give you a good idea actually
Okay.
about your mistakes. Now, let me ask you one question, and then I will come back to this exercise. Okay, that question is not here in this exercise. I will show you that exercise later on. But let me ask you that question verbally. Okay.
Okay.
Doctor, please pay attention to this once you would be listening to this recording, right? You will be watching this video. My question is, have you always liked the same kind of music?
Okay.
So answer, please.
Can you please
Have you
repeat it?
always liked the same kind of music?
Okay. No. I normally like different types of music.
Mhm.
Some of them is a cultural music
Yeah.
and or
Okay,
traditional music.
fine. Actually, you know, this mistake is made by almost 99%. Actually, so far, only one of my students, he was from the UK, he answered me correctly.
Okay.
Rest everyone, you know, answered it wrong, including you. And I'm sure,
Okay.
doctor, once you will be answering, your answer will also be wrong. Okay, why? Now I want to show you something.
Okay.
Uh,
You always begin.
sorry. This was my question, right?
Have you always been always like the same?
You see that?
Yes.
Okay. Whenever I ask my students to answer me, have you always liked the same kind of, and they answer me, well, it depends on my mood. Okay, like you did. Sometimes I listen to maybe folk music or cultural music. Okay, and sometimes I prefer classical or something, whatever, or rock, maybe, right?
Ah,
Now, if I ask you the next question, do you always like the same kind of music? What will be your answer?
do you always like the same thing?
Your answer will be the same, isn't it the case?
Yes.
So you actually answered me, or your answer was related to this question.
Okay.
Okay, why? Because this question is asking you in present indefinite tense, present simple tense. And what is that tense? In which something happens repeatedly as a habit or as a practice. Like if I say I go to university, that means this thing is happening daily. Okay. Similarly, when I ask you, do you always like the same? That means I'm asking you, okay, that happens daily maybe, or quite often.
Yes.
Like, well, it depends on my mood. Sometimes I do this, sometimes I do this. So that is present indefinite. But here, if you see, this was present perfect tense. Have you always liked the same?
Okay.
So here, the appropriate answer should have been, well, my choice of music has been changing over the time. When I was a kid, fine, or I was schooling, I used to listen maybe cultural or folk,
Okay.
but later on I switched to pop music. However, nowadays, you see, I'm doing this thing. So for doctor, एक question है, this is sorry Abdurrahman, this is for doctor in my local language. So जो दूसरा question है, do you always like the same kind of music? Present indefinite, कि आप हमेशा एक ही तरह का म्यूजिक पसंद करते हैं, present indefinite. तो आप कहते हैं well हाँ नहीं ये मेरे मूड पे डिपेंड करता है, right? But when I ask you, have you always liked the same kind of music? It actually means मैं आपसे ये पूछ रहा हूँ कि यार क्या आपको हमेशा से एक ही तरह का म्यूजिक पसंद रहा है? तो आप कहते हैं नहीं, हमेशा से तो नहीं रहा, कभी कुछ होती रही है चॉइस, कभी कुछ. So I hope that was all for doctor and for Abdurrahman, both of you. I hope this point is clear.
Yes.
I will tell you a tip how to jump into or land into the appropriate tense, maybe in coming exercises, right? Not now.
Okay.
I hope you understand that how important tenses are here.
Yes.
Some of the students, they come out after exam and they tell me, well, sir, I did really very good. They asked me, do you always like the same kind of music? And I told them, no, it depends on my mood and blah, blah, blah. But actually, they didn't understand the question.
Okay.
Right? So now, here's a third candidate. Her name is Saida. And she is answering some questions about writing and music.
Okay.
Okay. Let's first have a look, just focus on the questions only. Okay.
Okay.
This exercise asks you to please complete the questions, but I will just show you the questions directly. Okay.
Okay.
So now I'm showing you the questions, and then I will. Now these are the questions. Can you see it?
Okay.
What different types of writing do you do? For example, letters, emails, reports, or essays.
Okay.
Fine. So these are the questions.
Okay.
And what is the next question? Second question.
Do you prefer?
Answer is here written in front of you in red boundary.
Do you prefer writing with a paper or using a computer?
Computer, right? Then do you write more now or less than you did a few years ago?
Okay.
Do you like to write stories or poems? Let's talk about music. How often do you listen to music?
Okay.
So now, if you see, can you tell me which tenses the answers should be in. Like for first question, what different types of writing do you do? For example, this, and that. So my answer should be in which tense?
Okay, which tense? Okay. This is simple present.
Yeah, simple present. Good. Fine.
Yes.
Unless I try to explain it too much, like, well, nowadays I write this, but previously I used to write by pen as well. Maybe. Okay. Getting it? Oh, sorry. Previously I used to write essays as well, but nowadays I only write letters and emails, or reports. Got it? Now, do you prefer writing with a pen or using a computer? So again, which tense?
It's also simple.
Present simple, good. And do you write more now or less than you did a few years ago?
Okay, do you write more? This thing is also just a combination of present and past.
And past. Very good, very good. And do you like to write stories or poems?
Present.
Okay, present simple, right? So now let's talk about music. How often do you listen to music? Again, present simple.
Yes.
Now, one more thing I want to tell you guys. It's about tenses. There's a word known as used to. What do we mean by used to? USEDTO2.
Used to. Something that used to is like a past, first of all.
Okay. Just watch this video. Give me a break. Actually, I need to go for a minute. I'll be back. And I'm playing this video meanwhile. Just watch this video and then I'll come back, right?
Okay.
Sorry.
Now let's talk about writing. What different types of writing do you do? For example, letters, emails, reports, or essays?
I prefer to email. I prefer to connect by email with my friends, with my family, and sometimes I prefer to write letters by myself because it's very actual. I think it's from if you send a letter by yourself, and it means that you are very appreciate this person.
Do you prefer writing with a pen or using a computer?
Sometimes it depends on the situation. For example, for my studies, I prefer computer to type in computer, but for my essays, I prefer to write by pen.
Why?
Because I feel more comfortable when I try to explain my some things which I want to say. It's more comfortable and easy to write it yourself.
Do you write more now or less than you did a few years ago?
I think less because technology nowadays really go fast. So.
And do you like to write stories or poems?
Not actually. Just I like to write my opinions, my view, for example, about the world, about animals, about persons.
Thank you. Let's talk about music. How often do you listen to music?
Usually every day I listen to music because it gives me energy and it gives me some feeling, and it's very important for me to listen.
Okay, so we'll talk on this in a while.
Okay.
I was talking about used to, word used to, right?
Okay.
As in present indefinite tense, present simple, or we call it present indefinite. I hope you know that. Present simple or indefinite tense. This is same, right? In this, we talk about things which happen regularly,
Okay.
right?
Mm.
Or sometimes we can say which are permanent things. Like if I say London is a big city. Now this is a permanent thing, right?
Mm.
So obviously this is present indefinite tense. Or if I say I teach online, now that means it's a regular thing. That is a regular thing that I do.
Okay.
Got it? Now, similarly, when we go to past simple,
Mm.
in that actually we talk about something that happened only once or twice or thrice. Okay?
Okay.
Like if I say I went to Somalia.
Okay.
Now this is, one time incident that I said. It didn't happen regularly.
Okay.
Got it? This is just one visit. Or maybe I went to Somalia three times. But even then, I'm explaining or I'm defining all these three visits as one incident. That's it.
Okay.
Like I went there thrice. That's it. But what
Okay.
if I want to say that I used to go, actually now this is the word, right? When I want to
Okay.
say that these visits were regular,
Yes.
in that case, I would say I used to go to Somalia. I'm sorry, this is small s. Okay, just ignore these things for a while. Okay, Somalia. I used to go to Somalia every year.
Okay.
Now this is giving you almost same meaning. I'm sorry. So I wanted to. Can you see the slides or no? You can't.
It's mixed with the
Yeah,
presentation.
yeah, it makes with the. Okay, I'm
But it's
sorry.
okay.
Okay, but just take the meaning right. Let me again draw the same thing. If you see in present, if I say I teach online, this is a regular event that happens. So
Okay.
when I say I used to go to Somalia every year, so that means this was a regular activity in the past.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, now let me give you one more word for that. I used to visit my grandma's, my grandmother's home every year during summer holidays.
Okay.
You see? So that means every year this was a regular activity, and used to actually defines that activity,
Okay.
right? If now there's another way of saying it, I would. Okay,
Okay.
sorry, come back first.
Yes.
Are you back?
Yes.
Okay. So now there's a word known as used to, and there's a word known as would. They give the same meaning in this scenario.
Mm.
Like I could say, well, when I was a kid, Me and my siblings, my brothers and sister, we used to go to our grandma's home during summer vacations. And you know, we used to have a lot of fun. Sometimes we would play in the fields, sometimes we would or we used to do this thing. Getting it? Right?
Yes.
So would or used to, these are two common things. So now let's come back and talk about the video that you watched.
Okay.
I hope you know the answers now.
Yes.
You know the questions now?
Mm.
And you also know which tenses to be used: simple present, simple present, simple present, and simple past maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, and then simple present, right? Now let's watch it again and see what Saida does.
Okay.
Is she using a variety of language, or she is just restricted to some basic words only?
Okay.
Okay, and try to pick some grammatical errors in it. Clear?
Okay. Yeah.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Now let's talk about writing. What different types of writing do you do? For example, letters, emails, reports, or essays?
I prefer to email. I prefer to connect by email with my friends, with my family, and sometimes I prefer to write letters by myself because it's very actual. I think it's from if you send a letter for by yourself, and it means that you are very appreciate this person.
Do you prefer writing with a pen or using a computer?
I sometimes it depends on the situation. For example, for my studies, I prefer computer to type in computer, but for my essays, I prefer to write by pen.
Why?
Because I feel more comfortable when I try to explain my some things which I want to say. It's more comfortable and easy to write it yourself.
Do you write more now or less than you did a few years ago?
I think less because technology nowadays are really go fast. So.
And do you like to write stories or poems?
Not actually. Just I like to write my opinions, my view, for example, about the world, about animals, about persons.
Thank you. Let's talk about music. How often do you listen to music?
Usually every day I listen to music because it gives me energy, and it gives me some feeling, and it's very important for me to listen.
Okay.
Yes.
So, were there any mistakes?
Okay, I can say that she used only a simple present continuously.
Continuously, yeah. Actually,
And
she used a word I prefer too many times.
too much, and
Too
and
much.
also like you can you say like for my essays, or you can say in my essay or in my or by pen.
Sorry?
She was talking about writing
Uh-huh.
for by pen or
By,
by computer.
by computer, yeah.
Okay, she was saying that for my essay or for my story or something. Can you say it in my essay?
Can you see it? Sorry? There's voice issue, I guess. Can you see?
Can you say it? Is it correct to say for my essay or for my
For
story?
my, yeah, okay, I use pens to write essays and stories.
Okay.
Okay, or I type essays and stories on computer. Or I use
Okay.
computers to type essays and stories.
Okay.
Okay. Now here are some extracts from her talk, right? Her answers.
Okay.
So I want you to tell me that which of these sentences are correct and which of
Okay.
these sentences contain errors or mistakes.
Okay.
And what are those mistakes?
Okay.
So what about first one? I prefer to email. Any mistake in that?
Yes.
What?
Is by you can say by email. I prefer.
No, actually, I prefer to email. Email is somehow actually a verb now. I prefer to mail. I prefer to email, right?
Okay.
Now, second sentence. If you send a letter by yourself, it means you are very appreciate this person.
Okay. If you send a letter by yourself, it means you are very. It's not correct. It means that you are very you appreciate this person. You can say
Yeah,
like this.
you appreciate this person. Good. You
Ah,
are very is wrong, right?
yes.
Now, whenever we use are, we use generally in continuous tense, right? Okay, now, it depends on the situation. For example, for my studies, I prefer to type on a computer, but for my essays, I prefer to write by hand.
Okay. Okay. By computer.
There are three sentences which contain error. Okay.
Okay. Okay. But okay, on the situation.
No, that's fine.
Okay, for example, for my studies.
No, number three is fine, right?
Is right.
What? Yeah, it is correct. What about number four?
I think less. I think less because technology nowadays really go fast. Nowadays are really going fast. You can say like this.
Okay, now there are two issues. One issue is are, you know,
Yes.
and second issue is it doesn't go
Yes.
fast, it advances.
Yeah. It's yeah.
Technology advances, right? Advancements in
Advanced.
technology. You see? And
How
what?
about I think
Sorry, yeah, please say it again.
less.
I
Is it
think
right?
no. Actually, it is has been answered with reference to the question, and the question was, do you think that you write more these days or lesser these days as compared to the past?
Okay.
So she said, okay, I think less or lesser. Fine.
Okay.
What about number five? Not actually.
Not actually. Not. I think it's right.
No, actually, this is wrong. Uh,
Okay.
the correct, use of actually comes when you have to clarify a situation. When you have to
Okay.
clarify your previous statement,
Okay.
right? For example, if I say, well, I have been teaching in a university.
Mm.
Now, this is my statement, And you may think about, from this sentence, you may perceive or you can have an idea that, well, I'm a university teacher.
Okay.
Just to correct this misconception, I may use word in fact or actually.
Okay.
Right? I would say, well, I have been teaching in 2 universities. Actually, I was a volunteer teacher.
Okay.
You getting it? For these situations, we use word not really.
Okay, not really, yes.
Not really.
Yeah.
Now, I listen to music because it gives me energy. Is that fine?
I listen to this. Yes.
Yes, it is fine. Only these 3 sentences were there, which were wrong. Now, I will show you the comments and what is wrong, just to give you an idea. Can you see, is really developing quickly or advancing quickly? Not really. Can you see these answers?
Yes.
Okay. And here is an explanation about not really and actually. Please read through this. Please read through this and I'll join you in a minute. Sorry. Okay. There's some guests. I need to just attend them, right? Just give me a minute. Thank you. Okay, Abdurrahman, sorry, I'm back.
Okay.
Okay, so I hope you have read this.
Yes.
Okay, so any issues?
Yes. It's okay. But it's not a part of our work. Is it, you mean in the materials?
It is not like what?
Is it not in our handout?
This explanation is not there. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. Okay.
You can take a picture if you want.
Okay. Okay, snap.
Just let me know once you're done with pictures. Okay, I can move forward.
Okay, I have taken it.
Okay.
I have done it, man.
You have taken?
No, I have done it. Okay.
Okay, now you can take.
Okay, done.
Done, right. Now, this exercise is about past, present, and future experiences. I want you guys, both of you, to record yourself and talk about these topics for maybe a minute or maybe 30 seconds. Just 1 or 2 sentences about computers, in something in past, something in present, and something in future. For example,
Okay.
let me demonstrate about computers. using all these three tenses. For example, in the past, computer used to be very big and very slow. I remember that when I purchased my first computer, it was 786 megahertz or something, right? But now this is about past, right? But the computer, the one I'm using nowadays, is so and so gigahertz fast, right?
Okay.
And even I'm feeling now that this computer, my present computer, is not supporting the heavier softwares which are coming in market nowadays. So I'm planning to buy a new computer maybe in next 2 or 3 months. And I hope these computers, this new computer will actually will be able to cope up with the heavier softwares.
Okay.
So I've spoken 3, it is just to give you a practice.
Okay.
Talk something about reading in past, present, and future. Talk something about food in past, present, and future. Talk something about hobbies and studying and music in all these 3 sentences, right?
Okay.
And try to record it, try to write it, then listen to the recording and write your answers and try to figure out your mistakes yourself.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you some questions. And after 1 or 2 questions, I will just, skip to the next exercise, and then I'll come back here. Do you like to read newspaper?
Okay.
Yeah, your answer.
Okay, I don't like to read newspapers.
Why not? Okay.
Because newspapers are not readily available, and today is due to the advance in technology. All the news and the information that happen in the world, you can find it on your mobile or your laptop.
Thank you. Thank you. So, did you enjoy studying when you first started school?
No, when I
don't stay silent. Just keep saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, time is up. Don't stay silent.
You can.
Okay, don't stay silent. Just try to, I have told you, try to deal this conversation as a passenger traveling with you, and you people are talking to each other. Do you remember that? Right? Yes. So if someone asks me, and I'm, who is sitting with me, did you enjoy studying when you first started school? I may say something. Well, to be honest, I don't remember anything of that day when I started my school. But my mother tells me that I went very happily there.
Okay.
Or you can say, well, yeah, I exactly remember that first day of school. Okay. And I enjoyed a lot, and I very quickly made some friends there on the very first day.
Yes.
So it depends. So now, why I ask these questions, and can you see this question number 5 here? Have you always liked the same kind of music?
Okay.
You see, whenever there are some questions like that, do you do this? Did you do this? Now, remember one thing, did you enjoy studying when you first started school? Some of my students, they start talking about, well, I was not very good at school. When I'm not asking you the whole school time. I'm only asking you those first few days when you started school. Did you enjoy that or no? That's it.
Exactly.
Right? Similarly, have you always liked the same kind of music, and do you always, I hope you know the difference now?
Yes, it's like preface and question.
Exactly. So now, I told you at that time that I will guide you, or I will give you a tip. Using that tip, you can land into the correct tense very easily.
Okay.
And that tip is, do you like to read the newspaper? Yeah, I do. You see, have you always liked the same kind of music? No, I haven't. My choice has been changing.
Okay.
Getting it? So this thing actually helps you in two ways, or actually three ways, right?
Mm.
The first thing, there was an answer in which you got lost in the answer. This is a
Okay.
very common problem. Many of the students, they get lost in their answers. And when I ask them, well, which thing you like most about your city? And they tell me, well, there are a number of things which are very good about my city. Its weather is very pleasant, and 6 months of the year, it's kind of winter here, but the winter is not too cold actually. It's very pleasant, and
Mm.
if you talk about the food, and after some time they ask me, sorry sir, what was the question? Getting it? So now if the student forgets the question, or the IELTS candidate forgets the question, what
Okay.
examiner will think? Examiner will think that you didn't understand the question.
Okay.
I ask you to tell me the thing that you like the most in your city, and you didn't answer me the most thing. Fine?
Okay.
You talk about too many things. So
Mm.
similarly, when I say, do you like to read the newspaper? And some student may come up and say, um, well, sir, newspaper are a very important source of information. Even if you are into politics, science, and technology, or even some sports, newspaper gives us a blah 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 blah. And he's talking about newspaper, but he's not telling me, do you like or not?
Mm.
Fine. So first, when you say yes, I do, or no, I don't, as you did the same thing. No, I don't like. So I got my first answer, the direct answer to my question immediately. After that, you can explain.
Okay.
So at the end, you will not, get lost in your question, at least in your answer.
Mm.
Fine. You would have already given direct answer to the question. Clear?
Mm.
Similarly, if you see, if I say, no, I have not always liked this. I haven't liked the same kind of music always.
Okay.
Now, this has landed me into the present perfect tense directly.
Yeah.
I have not. You see? So my brain will jump into that part of the tense.
Okay.
Got it? Third thing, or third advantage. I told you don't stay silent for that long.
Okay.
So once, this is very easy for you to just take a start. No, I don't. Whenever you get stuck, okay, where to start with? You can say, I don't think I like it, or I don't like it, or no, I don't.
Mm.
So this will
Mm.
give you an immediate start, and then you can explain later. So that examiner
Okay.
will come to understand that you are stuck in your ideas, not in your question, or not in your English ability.
Okay.
You got it?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's have a look on this exercise. There are some options written for you. Not really. Yes, I do. No, I didn't. No, I haven't. Yes, I have, and so on. So, do you
Okay.
like to read the newspaper? How to start it? Do you like to read the newspaper? Not really, maybe. Or you can say,
Yes.
no, I
Yes.
don't. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Or no, I don't.
Yes.
Fine. So, what do you think? Did you enjoy studying when you first started school? What are the possible options?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, good. Or I did. Yes, I did. Right?
Yes, I did. Or
Or
yes,
not
I
really.
didn't.
Or not really. Not really is perfect for everything.
Mm.
So, would you like to do any further study?
Okay. Yes, I do. No, I wouldn't.
Yeah. Yes, I would. No, I wouldn't. Or not really. Again.
Not really. Okay.
So, do you often go out at the weekends?
Okay. That's you can say no, I didn't, or no,
No,
I
no, no,
do.
no, no. This is do. No, no, I don't.
Okay. Yes. Yes. No, I
Yes,
don't.
I do. or not really?
Okay.
Have you always liked the same kind of music?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I have. Oh, yes, I have. I mean,
Yes, I have, right? So now, these are good start points, you see, and they help you in many ways, and I have already told you, right?
yes.
Okay. So now, we'll talk about these questions later on, watching MNLE again, answering these questions tomorrow, inshallah, right?
Okay, sure.
So let's call it a day now. I'm already exhausted, actually.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So I hope you have learned some important points today. Try to, go through your notes because you will forget these things.
Accept.
Okay. So see you tomorrow,
Thank
inshallah.
you.
Take care. Assalamu
Okay.
alaikum.